Fresh off their first title in more than 40 years, the New York Knicks are the team most likely to dominate this entire league next season. And when you actually sit down with the numbers behind this roster, the picture gets even clearer. So let us go through them, one man at a time. We start with the reigning Finals MVP, Jalen Brunson. He enters next season carrying a resume not many players in this league can match. He is coming off a 2026 regular season where he played 74 games and started every single one of them. He averaged 26 points, 6.8 assists, and 3.3 rebounds a night, all while logging 35 minutes a game. That is a massive workload for any guard in this league. Now here is something wild. His scoring average was identical in back-to-back seasons. In 2024-25, he also averaged 26 points a game. But dig into the shooting numbers and things shifted. His field goal percentage dropped from 48.8% to 46.7%. His three-point percentage dropped from 38.3% to 36.9%. But his free throw percentage actually climbed from 82.1% up to 84.1%. His three-point attempts kept climbing throughout his Knicks years. Back in 2022-23, he was only taking 4.7 threes a game. That jumped to 6.8 the next year, dipped slightly to 6.1, and then shot up to 7.1 attempts per game this past season, the highest of his entire Knicks career. Once the playoffs started, everything changed for Brunson. He played all 19 playoff games and dropped 539 total points, which led every single player in the entire postseason. Victor Wembanyama was second with 524. His team went 16-3 across the whole run. Here is a stat that puts his postseason scoring into perspective. His career regular season scoring average sits at 19.2 points per game. His career playoff scoring average is 25.7 points per game. That is a jump of 6.5 points, and that jump is the largest playoff scoring increase in league history among players with at least 500 regular season games and 50 playoff appearances. In the clutch, his numbers get even more ridiculous. Since the 2023 postseason, he has racked up 144 clutch playoff points. No other player in that stretch had more than 85. He also piled up 364 fourth-quarter playoff points over that same span, with the next closest player, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, sitting at 292. Then came the finals, and Brunson somehow elevated even further. He averaged 32.6 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 4.6 assists across 5 games against the Spurs. His clutch scoring in that series hit 22 points, the most by any player in a finals series over the previous 15 years. He walked away with Finals MVP honors. Now let us talk about what is actually settled heading into next season. Brunson is under contract for roughly $37.7 million. That represents about 22.7% of the league's salary cap, which sits at just under $165 million. He is not testing free agency anytime soon either, since he is locked in through the 2028-29 season, with that final year being a player option. Age-wise, Brunson turns 30 on August 31st, 2026. So essentially, his entire upcoming season will be played as a 30-year-old heading into his 9th year in the league. On the health side, there is one major factor to track. Brunson had surgery on July 7, 2026 to repair a tendon issue in his left wrist and forearm. The reported recovery window was 6 to 8 weeks, and reports suggested he could be fully healed by training camp in September. But that is a projection, not a guarantee, so it is worth watching closely as the season approaches. As for the roster around him, the core group is staying intact. Karl-Anthony Towns, who averaged 20.1 points and 11.9 rebounds. Mikal Bridges, who averaged 14.4 points while shooting 49% from the field and 37.1% from three. OG Anunoby, who posted 16.7 points a night. And Josh Hart, who chipped in 12 points, 7.4 rebounds, and 4.8 assists a game. So when you add it all up, Brunson is stepping into next season as a 30-year-old reigning Finals MVP, fresh off a 539-point playoff run, a 32.6-point Finals average, and a fully returning championship core around him. The numbers alone tell the story of a player operating at the absolute peak of his career. By the way, if you enjoy these deep dives, I will be posting every day. I genuinely appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks. Anyway, up next, Karl-Anthony Towns steps into next season with a stat sheet that tells a totally different story than most people realize. In 2025-26, he played 75 games, starting every single one, and put up 20.1 points, 11.9 rebounds, and 3 assists a night, all in 31 minutes of action. Here's where it gets interesting though. That 20.1 scoring average was actually a drop from his first year in New York. In 2024-25, he averaged 25.2 points, 13.2 rebounds, and 3.2 assists. So his scoring fell by 5.1 points per game, and his rebounding dropped by 1.3 boards a night. His shooting percentages shifted too. Field goal percentage went from 52.6% down to 50.1%. His three-point percentage dropped from 42% all the way to 36.8%. But his free throw shooting actually climbed, jumping from 82.9% up to 85.8%. Now here's the number that really stands out. His career three-point percentage sits at 39.7%. So even with the dip, he is still knocking down shots at a rate that forces defenses to respect him beyond the arc. He was attempting around 4.1 threes a game and making about 1.5 of them a night. Once the playoffs hit, Towns transformed into something totally different. He played all 19 playoff games, and his assist numbers jumped from 3 per game in the regular season up to roughly 4.9 assists per game in the postseason. That is a jump of nearly 2 assists a night. He finished with 94 total assists and 50 turnovers, an assist-to-turnover ratio of about 1.9 to 1. Break it down by series, and it gets even wilder. Against Atlanta in the first round, he averaged 6 assists per game over 6 games. Against Philadelphia in the second round, that number jumped to 7.5 assists per game across 4 games, with only 9 total turnovers in the entire series. His assist-to-turnover ratio in that stretch was 3.3 to 1, which is an absurd number for a 7-footer. On April 30th, 2026, against Atlanta, Towns recorded 12 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists, giving him a playoff triple-double. That made him just the 3rd player in franchise history to pull that off, joining Walt Frazier and Josh Hart. His passing was not just going to one guy either. Over the playoffs, he dished out 21 assists to Brunson, 19 to Josh Hart, 18 to OG Anunoby, 15 to Mikal Bridges, 8 to Jordan Clarkson, 6 to Jose Alvarado, 4 to Miles McBride, 2 to Landry Shamet, and 1 to Mitchell Robinson. His plus-minus during the run was staggering too. Reports have him at plus 262 for the entire postseason, which would top names like Stephen Curry at plus 245 in 2017 and Draymond Green at plus 227 that same year. During the 4-game sweep of Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Finals, he posted a plus 79, matching Kevin Durant's plus 79 from the 2017 Conference Finals. Towns played all 19 playoff games for around 578 total minutes, averaging about 30.4 minutes a game. New York went 16-3 across the whole postseason, and their point differential of plus 283 was the highest in NBA postseason history. Let us talk contract numbers now. Towns is set to make roughly $57.8 million in the upcoming season. That makes him the highest-paid player on the entire Knicks roster, ahead of OG Anunoby at $42.5 million, Jalen Brunson at $37.7 million, Mikal Bridges at $33.5 million, and Josh Hart at $20.9 million. His salary alone equals about 34.6% of the entire salary cap, and his contract does not stop there either. He has roughly $61.2 million locked in for the following season as well. Age-wise, Towns turns 31 during the upcoming season, and he is heading into his 12th year in the league. He was the number 1 overall pick back in 2015 out of Kentucky, and he is now a 6-time All-Star, a 3-time All-NBA selection, and the 2015-16 Rookie of the Year. One roster change worth tracking is that Mitchell Robinson is no longer with the team, which puts even more importance on Towns holding down the center spot. New York did bring in Andre Drummond as depth behind him though, so it is not like the cupboard is completely empty at that position. His career averages tell the bigger picture too. 22.8 points, 11.1 rebounds, and 3.1 assists a game, shooting 52.2% from the field, 39.7% from 3, and 84% from the line. Heading into next season, he brings elite rebounding, efficient shooting for his size, and a passing role that expanded in a massive way during the championship run. And we cannot talk about the Knicks' success without covering OG Anunoby, who heads into next season carrying 2 championship rings. The numbers behind his rise are honestly kind of wild. Let us start with his regular season. He played 67 games, starting every one of them, averaging 16.7 points, 5.2 rebounds, 2.2 assists, 1.6 steals, and 0.7 blocks a night. He He shot 48.4% from the field, 38.6% from three, and 82.8% from the free throw line. That scoring number is a big jump from his career average, which sits at 13.3 points per game. So he was scoring 3.4 points above his career mark, and he did it while only taking 12 field goal attempts a game. He was not jacking up shots to get there either, attempting about 6.1 threes and 3.3 free throws per game. His efficiency backs this up too. His effective field goal percentage was 58.1%, well above his career mark of 56.3%. His true shooting percentage sat at 62% for the regular season, and his free throw shooting jumped from a career mark of 77.4% up to 82.8%. Then the playoffs happened, and Anunoby basically became a different player statistically. Over 17 playoff games, he averaged 20.1 points, 6.3 rebounds, 1.6 assists, 1.5 steals, and 1.1 blocks a night. His shooting splits during that stretch were absurd: 56.1% from the field, 48.9% from three, and 85.4% from the line, giving him a true shooting percentage of 72.1%. That is a jump of 3.4 points per game in scoring from the regular season to the playoffs, and a 10.3 percentage point jump in his three-point shooting. His true shooting number climbed by over 10 percentage points too. And here is the kicker. His turnovers actually dropped from 1.8 per game in the regular season down to 0.6 per game in the playoffs. Only 10 total turnovers across all 17 games. He did miss 2 playoff games with a hamstring strain suffered late in Game 2 against Philadelphia, sitting out Games 3 and 4 of that series. At the time of the injury, he was averaging 21.4 points per game in the postseason on 61.9% shooting from the field and 53.8% from three. He returned in time for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals and never missed another game. His individual playoff scoring games were massive too. He dropped 29 points against Atlanta, 24 against Philadelphia before the injury, 21 against Cleveland, 28 in Finals Game 3, and 33 in Finals Game 4. That 33-point outburst came on 10 of 15 shooting, including 7 of 9 from 3. That is 77.8% from deep in that game alone. Defensively, Anunoby remains one of the best two-way players in the league. He earned a spot on the 2025-26 All-Defensive Second Team, his second career All-Defensive selection, and he finished 10th in Defensive Player of the Year voting. Across the regular season, he racked up 104 steals and 48 blocks over 67 games. His playoff defensive matchups shot just 42.8% against him. And during fourth quarters specifically, opponents shot just 34.8% when he was the primary defender. His win shares number for the 2026 playoffs was 3.8, which led the entire postseason field. According to Basketball Reference, his overall plus-minus for the regular season was plus 407, and his playoff plus-minus came in at plus 163 across 17 games. Now let us talk contract. Anunoby is set to earn $42.5 million this season, making him the second highest paid player on the Knicks behind Towns. His deal runs through the 2028-29 season, with roughly $45.4 million coming the year after this one and $48.4 million in the final year. That salary represents about 25.6% of this season's cap. Age-wise, Anunoby is 29 years old, born July 17, 1997, making this his 10th season in the league. He was drafted 23rd overall back in 2017 out of Indiana, spending 7 seasons in Toronto before landing in New York. His career numbers jumped significantly after the move, going from 11.8 points per game in Toronto up to 16.9 points per game as a Knick. He is now a 2-time NBA champion, picking up his first ring with Toronto back in 2019, though he missed that playoff run due to an emergency appendectomy. This most recent title with New York was a completely different story, since he played a massive role throughout the entire postseason. One other key part of their win was Josh Hart, and he too enters next season as an NBA champion. His stat line tells one of the most unusual stories on the entire Knicks roster. He played 66 games last season, starting 52 of them, and averaged 12 points, 7.4 rebounds, 4.8 assists, and 1.1 steals a night in just over 30 minutes of action. He shot 50.8% from the field, 41.3% from three, and 72% from the free throw line, giving him a true shooting percentage of 61.2%. Let us talk about that rebounding number first, because it is honestly ridiculous. Hart stands at 6'5" and 215 pounds, yet he pulled down 7.4 boards a game. That included 1.4 offensive rebounds and 6 defensive rebounds a night. League-wide, that rebounding average ranked 27th in the entire NBA, and his 4.8 assists per game ranked 37th. For a guy his size, those numbers put him in company with much bigger players. Across the whole regular season, Hart racked up 792 points, 486 rebounds, 317 assists, 75 steals, and 17 blocks. He also finished with a plus 210 plus-minus and 6.1 win shares, both well above his career average. His player efficiency rating came in at 15.7, compared to his career mark of 13.5. Now here is where things get really interesting. His three-point shooting jumped to 41.3%, a career best by a wide margin, since his career average sits at 35%. That is a 6.3 percentage point jump, and he was not chucking up threes to get there either, attempting only 3.7 a game. His field goal percentage of 50.8% was also well above his career average of 47.5%. Then the playoffs rolled around and Hart's role shifted in a fascinating way. He played all 19 playoff games. His scoring actually dropped to 10.4 points a game, but his rebounding jumped up to 8.9 boards a night. His assists stayed steady at 4.6 per game, and his steals climbed from 1.1 up to 1.7. His shooting efficiency did take a hit. His field goal percentage dropped to 43.1%, and his three-point shooting fell to 32.6%, bringing his true shooting down to 52.5%. But here is the wild part. His individual defensive rating improved from 111.6 in the regular season all the way down to 101.1 in the playoffs, a difference of 10.5 points per 100 possessions, and his plus-minus for the postseason was an absurd plus 201 across those 19 games. The finals were where his rebounding really took off. Across 5 games against San Antonio, Hart averaged 7.6 points, 9.8 rebounds, and 4.6 assists. In Game 1 alone, he grabbed 15 rebounds to go with 6 assists, 4 steals, and 1 block, all while scoring just 3 points. Then in Game 2, he scored 0 points, but still pulled down 6 rebounds with 4 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. And in the championship-clinching Game 5, he finished with 13 points and 11 rebounds, including 3 offensive boards. Hart also played through multiple injuries during the season. He dealt with a left thumb sprain during the Eastern Conference semifinals against Philadelphia, with X-rays confirming there was no fracture. He also carried over a right ring finger issue from a procedure back in July of 2025, choosing to play through it with a splint rather than have surgery that would keep him off the court. Let us get into the history now, because this part is wild too. Hart set the Knicks' single-season franchise record for triple-doubles in the 2024-25 season with 9, breaking a record that had stood since Walt Frazier set it at 8 back in 1968-69. That record stood for 56 years before Hart broke it. He also had 6 triple-doubles the year before that, giving him 15 total across 2 seasons, tying him with LeBron James over that same stretch. His college career adds another layer here too. Hart played at Villanova, winning the 2016 national championship alongside current teammate Jalen Brunson. That connection goes all the way back to college, and now they are NBA champions together in New York. Contract-wise, Hart is set to earn roughly $20.9 million this season, with $22.4 million coming the year after. That makes him the lowest-paid member of the Knicks' 5-man championship core, sitting well below Towns at $57.8 million, Anunoby at $42.5, Brunson at $37.7, and Bridges at $33.5. Age-wise, Hart is 31 years old, born March 6, 1995, and he is entering his 10th season in the league after being drafted 30th overall back in 2017. So when you put it all together, Hart brings a statistical profile that does not rely on scoring to make an impact. His rebounding climbed at every level of competition, going from 7.4 in the regular season up to 8.9 in the playoffs, and then 9.8 in the finals. Combine that with career-best shooting, a franchise triple-double record, and steady playmaking, and you have a player whose value shows up in categories way beyond the box score. Let us now shift our focus towards Mikal Bridges, who heads into next season as an NBA champion for the very first time, and his numbers tell the story of a player who completely reshaped his role to fit a title-winning team. He played all 82 games last season, starting every single one, averaging 32.8 minutes a night. His stat line came out to 14.4 points, 3.8 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 1.3 steals, and 0.8 blocks a game. He shot 49% from the field, 37.1% from three, and 82.7% from the free throw line. Now here is something wild about his durability. Bridges extended his consecutive game streak to 638 straight games last season, the longest active streak in the entire NBA. That streak stretches all the way back to his rookie year, spanning 3 different franchises. In one especially strange stretch back in 2022-23, he actually played 83 total games across 2 teams after being traded mid-season, 56 with Phoenix and 27 with Brooklyn. His scoring did drop compared to his first season in New York. He averaged 17.6 points per game in his first Knicks season, and that fell to 14.4 this past year. But here is the twist. His efficiency actually went up. His field goal percentage climbed from 46.3% to 49%, while his usage rate dropped from 18.6% down to 15.4%. He was taking on a smaller offensive role while shooting the ball better than ever. Nearly half of his shot attempts came from three-point range, with 43.6% of his field goals being threes. On catch-and-shoot threes specifically, he knocked down 37.5%, and he was incredibly efficient inside 10 feet, shooting 68.3% from that range. Then the playoffs hit, and Bridges elevated his game in a massive way. Across all 19 playoff games, all of which he started, he averaged 13.5 points, 3.2 rebounds, 2.7 assists, 1 steal, and 0.3 blocks in 32 minutes a night. His shooting jumped to 55.9% from the field and 36.5% from three. His free throw shooting rose to an incredible 92%, and his true shooting for the playoffs hit 64.3%. His advanced numbers during that run were outstanding too. His offensive rating sat at 119.5. His defensive rating at 103.8, giving him a net rating of plus 15.7. His assist-to-turnover ratio was 3.06, and he finished the playoffs at plus 195 across those 19 games. He had some huge individual performances too. He dropped 24 points on 10 of 12 shooting against Atlanta. He scored 22 against Cleveland while adding 3 steals and 2 blocks. And in the finals, he had a game with 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists on 8 of 13 shooting and 4 of 6 from 3. Speaking of the finals, Bridges averaged 10.4 points, 3.6 rebounds, and 3.4 assists across the 5 games against San Antonio, shooting 46.5% from the field and 42.1% from 3. Both numbers topped his regular season marks, and in the championship-clinching Game 5, he closed things out with 14 points, 4 assists, and a block in nearly 39 minutes. Let us talk contract now. Bridges signed a 4-year, $150 million extension with New York back on August 1st, 2025, before any of this championship run even happened. His salary for this upcoming season sits at roughly $33.5 million. That climbs to $36.2 million the year after, then $38.8 million, with a player option worth $41.5 million in the final season. Age-wise, Bridges is currently 29 years old, born August 30th, 1996, meaning he turns 30 right around the start of next season. He was drafted 10th overall back in 2018 by Philadelphia before being traded to Phoenix on draft night. New York acquired him from Brooklyn in July of 2024, giving up 5 future first-round picks, a pick swap, and a future second-rounder to get him. His career path has taken him through very different offensive roles. In Phoenix, he was mostly a complementary two-way piece. During his stint in Brooklyn, his usage rate spiked to nearly 30%, and he averaged over 20 points a game. But in New York, his usage dropped back down to around 15%, and his shooting efficiency reached the best levels of his career. He also has one previous finals appearance back in 2021 with Phoenix, though that team came up short against Milwaukee. This time around, 5 years later, he finally got the ring. So he enters next season as a 29-year-old champion who just posted the most efficient stretch of basketball in his career by scoring less and shooting better than ever before. And we cannot forget about Jose Alvarado, who enters next season with a brand new contract and a championship ring. His path to get there is one of the more interesting stories on this roster. Let us start with this contract because it is a big deal. Alvarado declined his $4.5 million player option and instead signed a new 3-year deal worth more than $14 million with the Knicks, made official on July 6, 2026. That means there is zero uncertainty here. He is locked in with New York beyond this upcoming season. Age-wise, Alvarado is 28 years old, born April 12, 1998, heading into his 6th NBA season. He stands at 6 feet tall and 179 pounds, making him one of the smaller guards in the league. He went undrafted back in 2021 out of Georgia Tech, and his career path took him from New Orleans all the way to New York. The Knicks acquired him mid-season at the February trade deadline in 2026, sending Dalen Terry 2 second-round picks and cash to New Orleans in return, so his time in New York last season was not even a full season. It was a partial sample after the trade. Across both stops, he appeared in 69 games, averaging 7.4 points, 2.5 rebounds, 3.4 assists, and 1 steal a night, shooting 41.6% from the field, 35.2% from 3, and 76.1% from the line. Once he landed with the Knicks specifically, his role became clear. Over 28 regular season games, he averaged 16.9 minutes, 6.6 points, 3.8 assists, and 1 steal, starting just 3 of them. Then the playoffs hit, and his role shrunk even further in terms of minutes. Across all 18 playoff games, he averaged just 9.4 minutes a night, putting up 4.2 points, 1.4 rebounds, 1.2 assists, and 0.6 steals, shooting 43.3% from the field and 35.3% from 3. He did not start a single playoff game, but here is where things get interesting. Before the playoffs even started, reports indicated Mike Brown's probable 9-man playoff rotation did not even include Alvarado. He was on the outside looking in, based on that initial plan. Yet by the time the finals rolled around, he became one of the most memorable role players of the entire championship run. That moment came in Game 4 of the NBA Finals. San Antonio built a 29-point lead over New York. The Knicks stormed back to win 107-106, and Alvarado was a massive part of it. He played 9 minutes and 40 seconds in the fourth quarter alone, scoring 8 points, dishing 3 assists, and grabbing 2 rebounds. He went 3 for 3 from three-point range during that stretch. The Knicks outscored San Antonio by 17 points during his fourth quarter minutes on the floor. Mike Brown specifically credited him after the game for changing things. That stint also included him playing alongside Jalen Brunson, who went on to win Finals MVP. Brown made the choice to use Alvarado in that crunch time situation instead of Mikal Bridges, giving the Knicks another ball handler and shooter next to their primary offensive engine. His shooting numbers tell a pretty consistent story across his career too. His career three-point percentage sits at 34.9%. His 2025-26 mark was 35.2%, and his playoff percentage with the Knicks came in at 35.3%. All 3 land right around the same mid-30s range. One of the wildest individual games of his season came on February 11, 2026 against Philadelphia, when he dropped 26 points off the bench, making 8 three-pointers and racking up 5 steals. That performance made him the first player in Knicks history to come off the bench and put up at least 25 points, 5 steals, and 5 made threes in the same game. His defensive reputation is built around ball pressure, quickness, and disruption, which earned him the nickname Grand Theft Alvarado. On a roster full of expensive stars, he is the cheapest thing on it, and one of the reasons the season ended the way it did. So put it all together, a 30-year-old Finals MVP at the peak of his career, a 7-footer who turned into a playmaker at exactly the right moment, a two-way wing who shot 48.9% from 3 in the postseason and gave up only 10 turnovers in 17 games, and an undersized champion who rebounds like a forward and passes like a guard. That is the group New York is bringing back. Not a team that got hot for 6 weeks, but a roster whose numbers held up under the brightest lights in the sport. Which is exactly why everyone else in this league spent the summer trying to figure out how to beat them. Tell me in the comments who you think matches up with this team, because right now I am struggling to find one.